Hey, it's Joe and Kara from Paragon again. Hey, Kara.
Hey, Joe.
All right, so this is a series of videos. This is episode 4, right? We went through
Hmm.
just preparing our own brains for expanding our grooming business by training our own new groomers, right? That was video number 1, sort of an introduction. Video number 2 was how do we create an environment and surround the student with the most influential people to help the
Hmm.
student progress through their learning journey. Episode number 3 was well, it was a lot about the student, right? So now we were like,
Hmm.
okay, well, then who are we going to put in an environment to learn? This
Yep.
episode now is all about the schedule, right?
Yeah.
What volume, variety, and availability of dogs will your student need in order to keep them progressing forward through their learning engagement, through their learning process in the Paragon program? So what, Kara, what you've created, I think is going to be just brilliant for these business owners out there. Essentially, you created a scheduling crystal ball, right? To say, all right, week 2, they're going to need this. Week 3,
Yep.
they're going to need this. So whether they're a mature business or just a brand new mobile business startup, we've got some pro tips for them as well. So let's just hop right into the material, right? So
Hmm.
again,
Hmm.
now it's about creating that we talked about creating, just the overall business model. Then we talked about creating the environment. We talked about creating the student. And now we're to creating or supplying the right schedule. And I want to keep focusing on these 3 words because I think it's the most important 3 words: volume, variety, and
Hmm.
availability of dogs. So Kara, what's the very first, how do they start? How does the mobile business owner, coach, even sometimes with the student's assistants, how do they start kind of framing this in their head? Now it's time to start scheduling dogs because maybe we already have a student enrolled, or maybe we're getting ready, right? We're
Hmm.
right on the cusp of enrolling our
Hmm.
first student.
Hmm. Hmm. And Joe, I want to speak back to our, episode number 2 and the coach going through that program and how important that is for this episode, and how that will set the coach up to help, because the coach will have they will have kind of felt what's coming up in the program, which is going to allow them to schedule out dogs. So
That's
your
very
student, one
important.
of the really cool things about Paragon and how we teach is they have to have hands-on training. They have to be able to prove that they can take the skill that they learned and they can apply it. So they are going to start with hands-on within week 1. They're going to start nail trims week 1. Hopefully they're going to start baths in week 1 too. So they're going to need access to dogs. And the coach in this role is going to start scheduling, whether, to your point, Joe, you said, whether it's a business that has clients ready to book, and they're there in their book of business, or it might be a newer startup who's looking. We're going to help in the coach's training. We're going to help your coach know what to expect for that student in the first week, 2 weeks, and beyond, so that they can start planning ahead in mobile is just key. You have to plan ahead in mobile, really, not just for your student. That's in general. That's a pro tip. Always be prepared in advance in a mobile environment, but especially when you're bringing a student into that mobile environment, this is the time that you want to start pre-planning so that they can hit the ground running.
And what's really great about that is you mentioned, you know let's say it's a mobile business that has a full book of business,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It's got a
Yeah.
full book of business. As soon as that student lands in that environment, we can then look at what that full book of business looks like and say, okay, in week 1, we have these types of dogs, this clientele.
Yep.
Here's what the program is going to need. So we either have
Yeah.
a really good mix, or if we've got an imbalanced mix, if let's say the mix doesn't satisfy the volume, variety, and availability of what
Mm-hmm.
we're offering up as a guide, it's okay
Mm-hmm.
if sometimes then the process has to leak into week 2,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But
For
as
sure.
businesses start getting comfortable growing their own people, this will become a lot more comfortable and a lot more fluid. But again, we're giving them the answers to the test. You're giving them this schedule crystal ball, if you would, to help them look ahead. If they're an immature business, not immature like personality, but like immature, like they're not, maybe their books aren't full yet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the volume, variety, and availability of dogs tool, that resource, doesn't change. That
No.
still has to
Yeah.
happen. So
Yeah.
what are some pro tips? I love, that's a term we're throwing around. Pro tips to help maybe a business that's not full.
Well, Joe, we do have a resource on this that we can share in a link below the video. It's where to find dogs, but for mobile, because the mobile is going to be very unique in where they can find dogs and where some opportunities are for them, especially for a student who's learning. So, some pro tips there, of course, utilizing social media and then utilizing some of the communities that are in your area, apartment complexes, retirement homes. Maybe you live in an area that's heavy in something like 4-H or horse boarding facilities, but these areas that that people that either live in them or participate in them, and they all have dogs, and working inside of those communities to try to just get visibility for your van, for your business, and also dogs for your student to hit those volume, variety, and availability marks.
Yeah, I think that's really important because again, ideally what happens is that the Paragon program is designed to sort of slide right into any level of business, right?
Yes.
But
Yep.
it's okay if you have a book of business already scheduled out. I mean, your
Yeah.
student. Okay, so your student's doing the ride along with their coach in that van. They're trimming every set of nails. They're doing every bath for that coach or for that groomer. They're doing every cleaning of the ears. They're going to start doing the brushing out and the bathing. Who's to
Yep.
say then all of a sudden that van can't pick up maybe an extra dog that day or an extra
Right.
couple of dogs that week? So just these
Right.
things to kind of keep in mind of really how to benefit
Yeah.
from having
Yeah.
a student on board in a mobile environment, right?
Yeah. Yeah. For
So
sure. For sure.
again, the key three things, the VVA of success, right? Volume, variety, and availability of dogs. But Paragon is giving you the secret sauce. We're giving you the crystal ball to scheduling to make sure that you are providing students or providing practice dogs in the path of the
Mhm.
student where they're at when they get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
Because,
great.
Joe, I want to add one more thing. I know we're
Oh, yeah,
wrapping up here
yeah.
on this
No, go ahead.
episode, but I do want to add one thing to that. One thing that we have our check marks and our time to practices throughout the program of what the skills are that we're looking for in bats. But really, what's important here too, along with this variety and availability, is we want students building stamina. They need to take, as they go through the program, they need to build their stamina up. And so taking this time to prepare and for your coach to work alongside them is going to help set them up to get as many dogs as they can in for practice so that they build that ability to groom and have stamina to keep going.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you added that to this particular video because that's really important.
Yeah.
We can grow really great groomers that can only groom one dog a day. Well,
Yeah.
that's not going to cut it,
No,
right?
that's not.
We've got to have them, and we also don't
Yeah.
want to overwork them. We don't want to overstress them at a point where it is exceeding their ability. So this, to your point, it builds stamina through condition, right?
Yes.
Through
Yes.
conditioning. And this is
Mm-hmm.
the perfect way to do that. So
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
addition to the segment. All right, we're going to catch you in the next video, and we're going to be talking about it's time to enroll a student. What do you
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
do?
Yeah.
We'll catch you in the next episode.